Support for Sports Page is provided by Parker's Supermarket and Pharmacy in Warrensburg. Parker's works hard to supply grocery staples and spices to cook Italian, Mexican, Chinese, Indian, and Thai cuisine. The mission at Parker's is to make grocery shopping a welcoming experience for everyone. By First Central Bank, full-service banking from 7 locations in Warrensburg, Holden, Higginsville, and Odessa. First Central Bank, a residential mortgage lender, member FDIC. And by Union Station, crossroads to technology, a one-stop shopping source for technology needs. Campus-compatible computers, software for Mac and PCs, and much more. Located on campus on the lower floor of the Elliott Union in Warrensburg. Union Station, crossroads to technology. And promotional support for Sports Page is provided by 1450 Cocoa and 98.5 The Bar. 1450 Cocoa and 98.5 The Bar, the radio home of University of Central Missouri Athletics.
This week on the Central Missouri Sports Page, the head coach of the 20th ranked football Mules, Jim Svoboda, will tell us about his team's amazing comeback at Emporia State and look ahead to Saturday's home contest with Truman State. We'll also talk Mules golf with head coach Tim Poe. The 10th ranked Mules captured the first MIAA event of the year, and they appear to once again be the team to beat in the league. In our Sports Page Student Athlete Spotlights, we'll get to know Mules Senior Wide Receiver and Warrensburg product Taylor Dyer, and we'll relive the thrill of the aforementioned Tim Poe coaching Team USA to victory this past summer in the Palmer Cup. So please stay tuned. Your weekly 1-hour dose of Mules and Jenny Sports is coming up next. Hello again, everybody, and thanks for watching the University of Central Missouri Sports Page. I'm your host, Shawn Jones, and joining me to kick off this week's show is Mules football coach Jim Svoboda. Jim, welcome back.
Good to be here, Shawn.
Well, as they say, it's not how you start, it's how you finish, and your team once again proved that on Saturday.
Yeah, it was, we did get out of the gate slowly, and coming off of the previous week and showing that we had there was it was an opportunity for our players really to kind of fold up the tent, but they hung in there and got together in the second half and really showed what they're made of at that time.
You're on the road in a conference game, and you go down 18 points with 8:06 to go in the third quarter, and lots of new Mules made winning plays down the stretch.
It really did, and that's what it came down to, Shawn. We just kept hanging in there, and offense finally got on track and got a little rhythm and started scoring some points. The defense had some key takeaways, and some of our young pups really grew up in this game. And as you mentioned, and we had several score their first college touchdown ever, so that was pretty impressive for them to choose a road game in a difficult situation to be able to do that.
Yeah, that was a really cool thing, and we're going to see the highlights in just a moment. But Ralph Watson and Anthony Kirkwood and Darian Salter, 3 St. Louis guys, scored their first career touchdowns in that flurry of points, that 28-3 comeback to win. Alexis Reedus gets his first career interception. Patrick Lewis makes the biggest play of his career. Evan Knight makes the biggest tackle of his career. And the list goes on, and that's just so encouraging because that's something that not only helps your guys this week and this season, but those are confidence-building plays for the rest of their careers.
It really is, and we spread it around, and what we try to sell the players on is stay in the moment. Play each play as good as you can, and the best situation will arise out of that. And I don't even know if we were totally aware that the point differential there. We just really tried to get in the moment and tried to make plays each play along the way.
Well, something that I think is really encouraging and positive, and talking to folks who were down on the sideline with you and your players. They said the mood really never changed when you went down 18 and as you were coming back. It was always professional, businesslike. There was no finger pointing. Everybody was in the moment, focusing on their task, and that allowed the comeback. If you allow emotion to take over when you're down 18 on the road, fingers start to get pointed, and maybe those positive plays don't happen. That's an encouraging sign for your program, the way you run it, and for your kids to stay in the moment and stay focused.
It really is. We're pretty inexperienced, as has been pointed out, and it was actually kind of frustrating the early part of that game because after the Missouri Western game, I kind of rocked our kids, and we started off slow, and it would have been easy just to really go in the tank at that point in time, and so it never helps to get frustrated. It never helps to panic. We try not to panic as coaches, but it really comes down to the players making a decision to stay in the moment and do as good as they can.
I mentioned this stat already, but you outscored the Hornets 28-3 the final 23 minutes, and I have the numbers here. In your 17 games as head coach of the Mules, your teams have outscored the opponent 310 to 194 in the fourth quarter. That's not just conjecture. That speaks to the volume of conditioning your team does and how well conditioned they are.
We are, and that's one thing that you can control is your level of conditioning. Our players are convinced that that makes a difference in a lot of these games, and really in this conference, you're going to be in those fourth quarter battles a lot of times, and that's, like I said, that's one thing that you can take care of yourself in terms of the tempo of your practice and off-season conditioning and all those kinds of things. So we're proud of that number.
Well, it was a highly entertaining game in Emporia, Kansas. Let's take a look at the highlights. The Mules and Emporia State, and we went ahead and pulled all the plays out of the trick bag early on in this one as you get a look at the gray day, but a nice day for football. Hornets come out 0-2, first home game, onside kick. Give them credit, it worked.
Yeah, that was a good plan on their part. Obviously caught us by surprise and worked out for them.
But here's a big play by the Mules as they stop the Hornets, get the block field goal. It's Marlon Douglas with the block. That's a big play too.
That's a big play. Any play on special teams like that is a big momentum turner.
So we're watching a first half action. A little slip from Tommy, but he gets set in the pocket, fires to Jamar Howard, who has a record-breaking day. 230 receiving yards, breaking a 42-year-old school record. We'll see a whole lot more from Jamar. You really needed points out of this drive, and there you get them.
Well, you'd rather get it in the end zone. We've been pretty efficient in the red zone. We'd rather get touchdowns, but a field goal is better than nothing, that's for sure.
There's a nice draw play to Levance Taylor. We're going to see back-to-back runs from the freshman from Raytown. Very encouraging sign.
Yeah, Levance has, as you can see right there, has got tremendous burst, and we just feel like we need to give him and Cam a little crack, and they'll make a big play out of it.
Speaking of Cam, Cameron Tornaden from out of Lawrence, Kansas, driving into the end zone there for his first Mule touchdown. Just a sophomore, hopefully first of many.
Hopefully, and he certainly has the talent to do it.
And the Mules still trailing in this game as they did basically until 2:33 to go. There you see good pursuit by the Hornets. And the Mules still trying to drive in this game, still trying to find your way. There's a guy that found his way all day, Jamar Howard.
Really did, and actually they tried to get some help over the top with him a lot of the days, and we were able to still get him freed up, and some of those backside throws, and great throw and catch by Tommy there.
That was the halftime score, 21-17. The Mules trailed it. Emporia State wasn't done putting on some points. Great play fake there by Tommy Corwin as he's looking, throws back into the middle of the field. Jamar is open. Boy, he showed great hands, and he's not afraid to go over the middle either.
No, he's a big target, and he really did. They did a nice job improvising there because they had taken away that route.
Now, you were down 18 at this point. There's Ralph Watson, the St. Louis product, with his first career touchdown, and so the door remains open. The Mules are going to continue to keep it open as you see the Mules churning for key conversions and drives, and Tommy had 2 early interceptions in this game, but boy, down the stretch he made every throw.
Yeah, Tommy really hasn't been far off the mark. He's had some quirky things happen, and that takes a special amount of mental toughness to overcome that and not just blame it on bad luck and such.
There's Anthony Kirkwood, another Gateway City product, with his first career touchdown. Now the doubt's creeping in on Emporia State side, and you guys are really focused and making plays on both sides of the ball.
Well, we got the momentum down the stretch, that's for sure, and our players started smelling a little bit of blood and really made some great plays.
There you see Jamar Howard with another one of his 9 catches. There's Tommy rolling out. spots Jamar over on the sideline. That's a big play to keep the drive alive. Again, the Mules on the move at this point. Good bubble screen here to David Cannon, who continues to fight for yards. You like to see that.
Yeah, David's a tough kid and very, very athletic, and didn't get him the ball as much as we would have liked, but he made some plays when he had the chance.
Great draw play and run here by Cameron Tornade, and you're getting a good look at his skills on display.
Right, he's a multiple weapon, and out of the backfield receiving and running the ball, and we got him in the Wildcat deal too, and doing a great job.
And the plunge to the senior Salter to tie it up at 38. So we're tied early fourth quarter, back from down 35-17. Hornets on the march, trying to score. Ball's tipped. Patrick Lewis with the interception in this tie game. Huge play by Lewis.
Huge play there, and keep him out of the end zone, and then as you'll see here, go 95 yards, which is very impressive by our kids.
There you see Cam hustling down, and again we're tied at this point. Mules on the drive, and there's Corwin to Howard. Fourth touchdown pass for Corwin, the second of the day for the MIAA Player of the Week, Howard. And all of a sudden, the Mules have their first lead of the day with 2:46 to go in this game.
Better late than never, right?
There you see the scoreboard. The Mules have the lead. Hornets, though, fighting back. We're going to get a couple of looks at this, Coach. One of the best interceptions I've seen. They're trying to come back in this game, and Alexis Reedus, what a way to end this ball game. A terrific interception.
Get his first interception there, and he's a long kid and really has good speed and really battled through some injuries last year and in the spring, and couldn't be happier for that kid. He's really paid the price and came up big right there, that's for sure.
And watch this in slow motion on the sideline, and this is big. If he doesn't tip that ball's caught, and the Hornets are on the move. He tips it, stays focused, makes the play, and you'll see the best formation in football coming up here in a moment after the interception by Reedus. The Mules will take a knee. Victory formation for the Mules, who get a huge win on the road, coming back from down 18. I picked up another stat, Coach Svoboda, that I like as you see the final numbers, 45-38. The Mules are 10-0 under Jim Svoboda when they score last. And that's a great stat, proving that your team once again found a way to finish.
Yeah, again, really proud of the kids. I think what personifies the whole deal was the interception by Pat on the 5, and then getting the ball and going 95 yards to go ahead. That was impressive by our kids. No small task.
Yeah, that last drive, that last touchdown pass to Howard you saw, that was a 7-play, 95-yard drive. And again, the Mules outscore the Hornets on the road 28-3. The final 23 minutes to win the game 45-38. So that's a big win, keeps the Mules right in the hunt. What's going to be a wild MIAA season. Pitt State survives on the road. They score with 16 seconds left to knock off this week's Mule opponent, Truman State in Kirksville, 27-26. Northwest Missouri, they are ranked number 1 in the nation this week. They're 2-0 in the league. Washburn is 3-0. Washburn has a big test we'll talk about a little bit later. There you see the Mules right in the hunt, 2-1 overall. And in the conference, Western's right up there as well, 2-1, 1-1. But no give-me's in this league. Fort Hays State, Truman, you look at Emporia, how good they were, Coach Svoboda. Emporia State, this will sound cliche, but the way I watched them run their offense, there can't be a whole lot of better 0-3 teams in Division II than Emporia State.
I don't think so. They had a couple of tough losses, had some issues taking care of the football, and for most of the game against us really took care of it and showed how explosive they can be. They got a lot of experience back. And, fortunately, we were able to kind of figure them out there just in the nick of time and get some takeaways. But it was impressive watching them, and they had our defense on their heels a lot of the game. And, so give a lot of credit to them. Their kids never gave up. And, it's one of those games where, somebody's got to lose. And I know it was tough on their kids, but, they can hold their head up because it was a great battle.
Lots of offense in the game, which unfortunately means not a whole lot of defense. 640 yards for Emporia State. You win this game, and I know it was a thrilling win, and all you care is to have one more point than the opponent. What's the message, though, to the team after this game? Hey, great win, but here's some things we need to work on. How do you handle a victory like that? Well,
we've kind of adopted the idea that we really need to practice like we just got beat, like we're an underdog, and keep that focus. We learned a tough lesson this year. We won't have to go through that again with our kids, and you know, they've been very focused this week in practice, and they know that they're connecting the dots between what they do during the week and what happens on Saturday.
The irony is the defense is giving up some yards right now, but not in the red zone. It's big rips outside the red zone that are really hurting, but once the team has their backs against the wall in the red zone, they're tops in the league.
Yeah, those are good signs. You know, what we're working on now is getting that going earlier in the game, and you know, it's fun for the crowd and all those kinds of things. But you know, we want to. It's part of the growth process, and you know, the evolution of a team. And I think it's way better sign, good sign that when your back's against the wall, you come up with plays, you know, than searching for those answers.
Well, again, throwing out some stats, 11 times in your 17 games as head coach, the opponent has scored first, but you've won 8 of those games too. So it just goes to show that your team has figured out a way to play the entire game, and you had the 24-point homecoming comeback last year, the 18-point comeback this past week at Emporia State. But I know, you know, for your hair and wrinkles and things, maybe getting off to a faster start would be nice, but the bottom line again is how you finish. This Saturday, again, Truman State comes to town. It is the 95th matchup in this long-standing series. It's actually the 5th oldest rivalry in NCAA Division II. I mentioned Truman State losing 27-26 at home to 15th-ranked Pittsburgh State on a touchdown with 16 seconds left, which just proves that everybody in this league is capable, and if you give them an inch, they'll take a yard.
Certainly a lot of parity, and you know, we understand that, and that's why, you know, these close games and our opponent scoring first and some of those kinds of things, you know, that's just the way it is, and you know, it's going to be that way game in and game out. And so give a lot of credit to the other team, and you know, their kids got scholarships and they're working hard too, and so it's just figuring out a way to get it done. And there's a lot of ways to win games. You know, our kicking game has really been stellar, and you know, that's been productive for us. You know, defense takeaways, whatever it takes. You know, that's kind of the mantra that you have to have in this conference. And I'm sure that you know, Truman's guys were heartbroken, felt like they had one taken away from them. So they'll be hungry for a win. And so, you know, it's kind of the same old deal for us. We're facing an opponent that you know, is coming off a tough loss, feel like they should be in a better position than they are, backs against the wall, that whole kind of thing, and we'll be ready for it. What
are the big keys to success against Truman State?
Well, you know, defensively, I think we got to do better on the early downs. You know, what happened to us last week is Emporia was in a lot of those second and mediums, third and short type deals, and that enables them to sustain drives and you know, also you know, trying to prevent some of the big plays, and then offensively really getting some rhythm earlier and you know, getting off to a little better start, and so we'll focus on those things. But you know, the fact of the matter is that we're playing well when we have to, and we don't want to make light of that fact either.
Again, it's this Saturday, 2:05 p.m. kick at Walton Stadium, Kennedy Field. Games on TV, the MIAA Television Network Game of the Week. You can watch the replay Sunday at 4 right here on KMOS-TV. As usual, a whole lot of great games this week in the MIAA. It starts on Thursday night. You see Missouri Western going to 8th-ranked Washburn. That's a big game on Thursday night. Saturday, Southern takes on Lincoln in conference play in St. Louis. Langston's at Emporia State. That's a non-conference game. William Jules at Pitt State. That's a non-con contest. And Fort Hays State is at #1 ranked Northwest Missouri for a 1 o'clock kick. Coach Svoboda, this is the first of 3 straight at home for the Mules beginning this Saturday at 2:05. So I know you don't look ahead, but that is nice to get some home games under our belt.
Well, it's always great to play at home. Again, MIAA leader in attendance this year, and we're proud of our home stadium and our home crowd. Our kids love it. It's going to be on TV, so it'll be an exciting atmosphere again, and so we're looking forward to it.
Don't forget, folks, the tailgate lot's open 3 hours prior to kick, so get there early, enjoy the atmosphere. Boy, the weather forecasters right now, Coach Svoboda, saying 70 degrees and sunny. It's about a perfect day for a fall college football game on campus.
Yeah, we've had some great weather, and it's the best time of the year in the Midwest is the fall. You got the weather, you got football. It doesn't get any better than that on Saturday afternoon.
Thanks for the visit. We'll
Thanks,
talk to you
Shawn.
again next week. Coming up next on Sports Page, we'll get to know Mules Senior Wide Receiver Taylor Dyer. And our spotlight on the Warrensburg product is next here on the Central Missouri Sports Television Network.
I get to watch performers I can't see all the time. Where else can I watch an hour and a half on Pete Seeger and see how this country changed through the 50s plumb into the 2000s? I can watch the Hudson River start dirty and watch a man with songs clean it up. I can watch Austin City Limits. John Hyatt, a name I would have never heard of. You may never have either, but watch KMOS and you will. You'll learn about people that can entertain you and can take you away, make you get away from where you're sitting right now and just really relax, really think, and really enjoy yourself. KMOS is my source of entertainment.
Life is full of choices. I choose what to wear, what to eat, when to move, and when to rest.
I choose not to conform. I choose who to learn from and where to study.
I choose red, to be the one who stands out.
I choose red to discover my hidden potential. I choose red to inspire future generations.
Choose red.
Choose red. Choose red.
It's a new season for the Fighting Mules, and a year after setting school record for number of wins in a single season and ranking number 5 nationally, expectations are high. In their second home game of the year, the UCM Mules host the Truman State Bulldogs. Catch the replay Sunday, September 25th at 4 p.m. on KMOS-TV, Missouri PBS. Thank you for watching KMOS Channel 6.1, Sedalia, Warrensburg.
And welcome back to Sports Page here on the Central Missouri Sports Television Network. In this segment, we shine the UCM Student Athlete Spotlight on Mules Senior Wide Receiver Taylor Dyer.
I got started playing football, I think I was in the 3rd grade. Just, started playing just tackle football, or actually I was flag football that year, and just started off then, and ever since loved the game, played it every year since then. Playing here has been a real good opportunity to me. To play in front of the hometown crowd has just been pretty exciting. Not a lot of people get to do that, especially in front of such a great group of fans that we have here. So it's been a lot of fun. I had a couple places that I was looking at, but I always kind of knew that I wanted to go here, and to actually get the opportunity to come here to play was just a blessing, and I was really excited to come. My dad played here as well, and so I came here growing up every game, watching the games as a kid in the stands here, and just to be able to play has been awesome. The coaches have really been a blessing here, having Coach Svoboda and his staff come in, Coach Lambo. Those are just great guys, and I just have a great relationship with them, and being able to talk to them about anything, any problems I have on or off the field, it's just been a great deal to have. My relationship with the teammates is just great, come out and play with those guys every day. We all have fun. There's nobody else I'd rather come out and play with than those guys, and we have fun doing it. My playing style is, outside of receiver, you got to be fast. So, I tend to use my speed in a lot of things to beat defenders, and I got good hands, and so just put those two together, it works. Yeah, we put in a lot of work on and off the field to prepare for a game. We have weights that we got to do. We got off-field stuff, skill-wise. We watch a lot of film every week. We come in and watch the film, get prepared for each team each week, so we can come out and play our best game against them on Saturday. Our practice schedule, we practice real quick. There's one thing about us, that's how we really stay in shape. We don't have to do a lot of conditioning stuff throughout the week because our practice is so fast. and at a faster pace than everybody else than they do. So, you know, there's no need for conditioning for us, you know, because we're always constantly moving in practice, and we come out here and get the job done and get out. Yeah, it was a great start, our opener, you know, to come out and do that in front of the home crowd. And second game, you know, we just kind of didn't play our game, and that's one thing that killed us. I mean, when we don't come out and play our game, and the other team does, we're not going to win. But you know, we kind of flushed that, and we're going to bounce back and just get back to playing mule ball and play our game. And we'll be successful that way. The Mules game is fast, and everybody does the right assignments. You know, if everybody's doing the right assignments at all times and playing fast, doing that, we're going to be successful every week. Yeah, I'd say I'm a leader out there. You know, I'm always trying to make plays to pick other people up if that's what I got to do. I'm not really the most vocal person out there on the field, but you know, there's other ways to be a leader. When you're out there making plays, doing things right, other people are going to look up to that. My favorite part about playing for the Mules is just the camaraderie in the team. You know, this is the closest group I've ever been around, team-wise. You know, everybody's there for you. We're just like brothers. It's the second family. It really is. My major is business management. Being a student athlete is tough, having to balance both school and athletics, but it's definitely worth it in the long run, but it does require a lot of effort. After I graduate, I hope to either continue to play football somewhere if I have the opportunity, or get a good paying job somewhere. I actually had an internship this summer with a tool supply company, and so hopefully maybe take that somewhere.
Dyer came into his own during last year's run to the national quarterfinals, making some big drive-sustaining receptions. And so far in 2011, he already has 15 catches, good for 5th in the MIAA in receptions per game. His 65.3 yards per game receiving ranks 7th in the league. And hopefully the senior and Warrensburg native will be making some more late-season clutch catches for the 2011 Mules, who enter Saturday's 2 p.m. home contest with Truman State, ranked 20th in NCAA Division II. Coming up next on Sports Page, we'll take a look back at how Central Missouri's fall sports teams performed this past week, and we'll visit with Mules golf coach Tim Poe. All of that's on the way when Sports Page continues right after this.
Hi, I'm Chuck Ambrose. Join me as I host Central Missouri tomorrow on KMOS-TV. We'll look at the Show Me State through the eyes of those who shape the vision and future of this state. In this episode, I'll speak with Brigadier General Scott Vanderham from Whiteman Air Force Base and Senator David Pierce about the challenges faced by our servicemen and women and how Missouri can help them access higher education. Join me for Central Missouri tomorrow.
I choose to accomplish my goals.
I choose to follow through, to finish my degree.
I choose a university that's convenient and close to home.
I choose Red to transfer my credit hours without any hassles.
I choose Red to graduate on time.
The University of Central Missouri Summit Center in Lee Summit has academic programs designed to help you finish your degree and discover your potential. Learn more at choosered.ucmo.edu.
Load up your golf clubs, grab your spikes, and head out to the first tee. As our way of saying thank you for your financial contribution at the $50 level or higher, KMOS will send you a member card. In addition to great discounts at restaurants, attractions, and bed and breakfast all across Missouri, the member card also offers 2-for-1 greens fees at several Missouri golf courses. Improve your swing while taking in beautiful lake vistas. Or experience the Rumble at America's only golf course above an active mine. Take your game to the next level by playing around on us. Call 1-800-753-3436 and support KMOS-TV, Missouri PBS. Thank you.
Stay tuned to KMOS Channel 6.1, Sedalia, Warrensburg.
And once again, thanks for watching Sports Page here on the Central Missouri Sports Television Network. Coming up next, we'll visit with Mules golf coach Tim Poe. But first, let's show you how the Mules and Jennies performed this past week. The Jennies soccer team last Thursday night picked up a 1-0 win over Washburn in Topeka. The Gens played terrific defense with a 31-1 shots on goal advantage against the Lady Blues. Saturday night, the Gens hosted Truman State, picked up a 2-0 shutout win. Becky Lackey scored both goals for UCM. The Gens moved up 10 spots to a number 15 national ranking this week. They are 5-1 on the season. The Jennies volleyball team wrapped up a 6-match homestand with 3 victories this past week. Saturday, the Gens blanked future MIAA foe Lindenwood 3-0. In the match, Paula Harris became UCM's all-time points leader. On Sunday, the Jennies blanked Drury 3-0 as Allie Huffman led the way with 16 kills. On Tuesday, the Gens picked up a 3-zip win over SBU in conference action. Huffman had 13 kills. She was named the MIAA Hitter of the Week. The Gens are now 8-3 overall. They're 2-0 in the MIAA and ranked 8th this week in the AVCA Division II Top 25. The Mules golf team is coming off yet another MIAA title and 3rd place finish in NCAA Division II in 2010. Joining us now to talk over the 2011-2012 season is Mules golf coach Tim Poe. Tim, welcome back to the show.
Good to be back, Shawn.
Well, obviously, things are really going well for Mules golf, and 2 years ago, the 2nd place finish, and last year, the 3rd place finish in NCAA Division II. The 2 best, by the way, not only in UCM history, but in MIAA history. Lost some really quality guys, so what are your expectations for this year's group?
Well, I knew that we had recruited some pretty good talent, you know, after having a couple years like we did. Got a lot of strong players that really look strong at Central Missouri, and got a couple from quite a ways off, and several from right around the state. But you know, I knew we had talent, but until you get them all together and playing together, and just to see what you got, you really don't know. But after our first qualifying rounds, I knew we were going to be pretty good. I mean, we had some guys shoot some tremendous scores. Had a freshman that won our qualifying, never seen the 2 golf courses that we played, shoots 14 under for 6 rounds. Had a course record shot out at the country club. Jason Van shoots 34-28, breaks the course record out at Hidden Pines. So, I mean, we just had some tremendous scores shot in qualifying, so I knew kind of after that was over that I said we're going to be okay.
You know, it's kind of funny, you and I have talked off record a few times about the fact that, you know, you finish 2nd in the nation, you finish 3rd in the nation, and they rank you 10th in the country to start the season. I think there's no question in golf there's a little Sun Belt bias, as I call it. Those coaches down south and out west just don't want to give you the credit that you and your kids deserve. That's got to serve as some motivation year after year.
Well, it does. You know, I've kind of gotten over that. You know, early on in my career, and you know, some of our players back in the day, you know, we kind of let it bother us a little bit that we didn't get the respect. But anymore, I just come to expect that we're not going to get it. So yeah, it does serve as a little motivation for us. But you know, we realize right here in this part of the country that we're going to play with a target on our back now, and with the you know, the long run that we've had making it to the postseason and being one of the top teams in the conference, we know that everybody's going to look to bump us off. So along with that, you know, we have a lot of motivation because of that, but I don't let it bother me anymore. I mean, it's all based on what you do at the end. So yeah, it's nice to be ranked, and it helps in recruiting some, but as long as we keep doing what we've been doing, I think that's good enough for me.
Well, let's go back, talk about the beginning of the fall season. Of course, in the Midwest, we play a fall season and a spring season. The first event, really a great one. It's not a conference event. It's a Missouri Intercollegiate down at Portachima, great golf course in Sunrise Beach, and you went down there and finished 2nd. Take us through that event.
Well, we love playing in that event. I mean, it's always, even since back when I played, it's always been a great event. Obviously, we always love the opportunity to get to play Missouri and UMKC and Missouri State, but they no longer play in the event. But it's still a great event. All the schools in the state are invited, so it's kind of a bragging rights tournament. But we play on just a beautiful golf course. One of my favorites, definitely my favorite at the lake, but one of my favorites in the state. So it's always a good tournament to start off with down there to kind of see you know, how we stack up. And there's a few teams in the conference, but it's mainly kind of a spattering of just all the schools in the state, from, you know, NAIA, JUCO, everything. So great tournament. And I would say we had an okay start. William Woods won it, and they got a great little team coming back. former alum coaches down there, so it's good to see his team do well. But they got a lot of veteran players. But so I think with our young guys, their first tournament, I wasn't too disappointed. I mean, you want to win it. We had won it 2 or 3 years in a row, so you like to defend. But I wasn't too awful disappointed in the way we played down there, because basically we went down there with 5 new faces. I mean, Joe was really the only one that had any varsity experience last year, and he only played in 1. So basically, we had 5 guys that had never played really a varsity college match. So to go down there and do that, I was pleased.
You mentioned Barry Doty, the coach from Sedalia, former kicker and golfer here at Central Missouri. I know he'd be pleased with the way your team started MIAA play, though. Let's talk about that. You go next to Pittsburgh, Kansas, Crestwood Country Club, and the Pittsburgh State Invitational. Now, that's a big event for a lot of reasons. Number 1, it's a conference event. Number 2, I know these other schools in the league are wanting to see, okay, how good are the Mules going to be this year? And you came back day 2, won it. Jared King shoots 5 under 67 the final day. That's got to be a huge win from a confidence standpoint for your team.
Well, I think so. Really the whole league, other than Washburn, is kind of new. Southern reloaded a little bit. A lot of the teams lost, some key players off their team, so it was going to be kind of interesting to see what everybody had. Not only us, but just to see what the other schools had. We knew Washburn was going to be pretty good. I mean, they basically returned 4 players from the last couple years, and then their 5th player had played some and was a JUCO player anyway, so he had some college experience. So we knew Washburn was going to be pretty decent, but I mean, I was proud of the guys. They played okay the first day and then came back pretty strong, and it got pretty pressure packed right there at the end. It was real tight, and Joe was cruising along, looked like he was going to win the tournament, and then had a couple bad holes in a row, and then it got it really tight there for the last few holes, but we ended up pulling it out, and just really proud of Jared. He didn't qualify for the first tournament, and just thought probably he was only 1 shot out of making the top 5, and I thought probably ought to take him down there. He'd seen the golf course before, and it paid off. He played pretty well.
Stepped up and played well. Let's look back at some practice footage from earlier this week out at Keth Memorial Golf Course. It's always nice when the weather turns nice in the fall and get a chance to get out there and practice in good conditions. There you see the practice facility. That's got to help your team not only this fall, but also for the entire year to have the weather we've been having.
Oh, it's been incredible. I mean, like I was saying earlier, you just can't beat the low 70s and the cool nights. And when we play, a lot of the tournaments we tee off in the mornings, so you get those nice brisk mornings, which is great. I love the fall season. I wish we could play more in the fall, but obviously the championships are all in the spring. But yeah, it's been incredible to have the weather we've had this year. I just hope it doesn't turn off too cold too soon.
Well, a lot of our folks who are watching, who are golfers, are watching these swings and going, okay, I can see why these guys are so good. Once you start the season as coach, do you work a lot with their swings, or do you try to just focus on game improvement things at that point?
Well, that's one thing I've always told the recruits coming in. I'm not a big swing changer. I feel like it's my job when I'm recruiting to make sure I get kids that are pretty solid right out of the gate. And it's mainly some tweaking here, tweaking there, things that don't take a long time to adjust to. Swing changes, a lot of times if they're major, I mean, they take months, and we don't have months. We come to school and we're starting within 2 weeks playing, so you just don't have the time. But usually a lot of tweaking over the winter time, and then if I was doing any major swing changes, which I rarely do, it would be something I'd send them with home after the spring season to work on over the summer. But we mainly work on the mental side, course management side, and confidence side. I think that's the 3 keys that I key on mostly with my guys. I think that's what it takes at this level. They all hit it pretty good. They all swing it pretty good, no matter what team you look at. So I think that's where I try to work on.
I believe that's Joe Migdal under the visor. He's a visor guy. Is that
no, that's
Joe?
Tyler.
No,
Tyler Hurlinger, freshman.
Okay.
Fresh from
I know Migdal's
Kansas.
a visor guy, and had a chance to play with him last year in your fundraiser event. And he's such a terrific player. I know he's a guy. We mentioned Jared King earlier. Joe's a guy, St. Louis native, you're expecting a lot of.
Oh, Joe. I've never seen a kid that can make more birdies than that kid can. He absolutely is fearless on the golf course. I love him, the way he plays. You know, he's smart, but I mean, he just hits it close a lot. And you know, when he does hit a bad shot, I mean, he's got a great short game and just a tremendous putter. So he's going to get up and down a lot when he does miss greens. But man, he can make a lot of birdies. I think maybe in the third round of our qualifier this year, he made 9 birdies in 18 holes. So, I mean, the guy can make a lot of birdies for you, and you always love to have a guy like that on your team.
Well, you mentioned Van earlier in our conversation, the nice, what was it, 34-28 or 35-28,
yep,
whatever?
34-28.
28's pretty ridiculous. That's just incredible. Back 9 out there is pretty darn tough, too. But you've got him. We mentioned King. We mentioned Migdal. Evan Monheiser's a young man from Blue Springs that shot 73-71. Down at the tournament at Pitt State. You know, you've got guys from here in Warrensburg that are on the team and playing pretty well. So, you know, looks like you got a lot of competition for the 5 spots.
Well, that's one thing everybody always asks me. Other coaches, they say, why is your roster so big? And, you know, I think the more competition you can have amongst your players, the better you're going to be. You know, a lot of teams only carry 8, 9 players, and you know what I've always felt about carrying that few of players, if you got a couple that just aren't playing well, then you get a kid hurt, then you're kind of stuck with you know, who you got left. So I've always thought that having more players, having more competition, you're usually going to have, out of 22 guys, you're going to have 5 guys probably playing pretty good at some point. So I've always liked having a bigger roster. Having your own golf course certainly affords you to be able to do that. If we, you know, were just relied on a country club all the time, you know, we probably wouldn't be able to do that. So that's the blessing of having your own golf course, and then having a country club and Whiteman Air Force Base that we play at a little bit too, allowing us to have that big and not complain too much about our roster size is just, it's a blessing. It really is.
Well, let's talk about the next event in the fall in Muskogee, Oklahoma at Muskogee Country Club, the Northeastern State Classic. Your teams have had success at this event in the past. It's even bigger now, though, because of their regional foe and they're joining the MIAA.
Exactly. Scott has always had a great tournament down there. I always like supporting his event because he and I kind of got in this thing together about the same year. So we've known each other a long time, but I've always loved going down to that tournament. Muskogee Country Club is a neat old Perry Maxwell design. He's designed a lot of the major championship golf courses. I think he is #1 at designing more major championship golf courses than anybody. So it's a great little golf course, and there's always good teams. He always has several ranked teams. We can always expect to see maybe 8, 9, 10 teams in the top 25 down there with Central Oak and a few of the Oklahoma and Texas schools that'll be there. So it's always a great field, and we have done well on that golf course. So we always enjoy going down there, and it's always a great tournament.
Well, Coach, that's going to do it for our visit tonight, but there's going to be more coming up with you in just a moment. We're going to talk some Palmer Cup memories. You got the opportunity to coach Team USA this past summer against Team Europe in the Palmer Cup, the top collegiates from the United States and Europe. You were the first D2 coach to earn that honor. Worked with Mr. Palmer during the week, and some guys, tons of guys that are going to be on the PGA Tour winning events, and you won. I know, you know, I don't want to spoil anything from the upcoming video, but it was certainly a career and probably in a lot of ways outside of your family and things, a lifetime highlight for you.
Well, it really was. I mean, I've told everyone that's asked about it. I mean, it's something I'll never forget. I hope it's not once in a lifetime. If not, that means we've had some pretty good years around here again. So I hope someday maybe to get the opportunity to do it again. But it was truly an honor to be the first Division II coach to do it. But, you know, to get to spend some time with your boyhood idol, with, you know, 8 of probably the best amateur players in the world, not just this country, but the world. I mean, the #1 ranked player in the world, and I think the #3 ranked player in the world. I mean, you just don't get that opportunity every day. So I was certainly proud to be able to do it, and was glad that we got the win.
And we downplayed it around here before you went. Hey, just go have fun. But there was a lot of pressure. You were the first D2 coach to coach Team USA, and you won. So that was huge too.
Well, I told Rhonda on the way out there, I said, I'm not going to let us losing, if we happen to lose, I'm not going to let it spoil the experience. But then I also told her I want to win in the worst way. I mean, winning is everything, and you don't get remembered for finishing second or losing that deal. So I wanted to win it in the worst way, and man, I had a great team that just really pulled it off at the end.
We'll learn more about it in a moment. Thanks for the visit.
Thanks, Jonesy.
In just a moment on Sports Page, we'll talk Palmer Cup memories with Tim Poe, from coaching Team UCM to Team USA. That's next, right here on KMOS-TV.
I choose to finish what I start.
I choose to accomplish my goals.
I choose red to make my family proud.
I choose red because I can take classes that work around my schedule.
I choose red to advance my career.
The University of Central Missouri Summit Center in Lee Summit is a convenient location for finishing your degree. Transfer your credits to UCM and finish what you've started. Learn more at ucmo.edu/GoSummit.
Hi, I'm Chuck Ambrose. Join me as I host Central Missouri Tomorrow on KMOS-TV. We'll look at the Show Me State through the eyes of those who shape the vision and future of this state. In this episode, I'll speak with Brigadier General Scott Vanderham from Whiteman Air Force Base and Senator David Pierce about the challenges faced by our servicemen and women and how Missouri can help them access higher education. Join me for Central Missouri Tomorrow.
Load up your golf clubs, grab your spikes, and head out to the first tee. As our way of saying thank you for your financial contribution at the $50 level or higher, KMOS will send you a member card. In addition to great discounts at restaurants, attractions, and bed and breakfast all across Missouri, the member card also offers 2-for-1 greens fees at several Missouri golf courses. Improve your swing while taking in beautiful lake vistas. Or experience the Rumble at America's only golf course above an active mine. Take your game to the next level by playing around on us. Call 1-800-753-3436 and support KMOS-TV, Missouri PBS. Thank you.
You're watching KMOS Channel 6.1, Sedalia, Warrensburg.
There's a committee that makes that selection every year. I think they narrow it down each year through the coaches that receive the National Coach of the Year. And obviously there was 5, I guess, this last year with Division I, Division II, Division III, and then the 2 different divisions of the junior college ranks. So the selection came down between the 5 coaches that received the National Coach of the Year, and I was selected. And it was told later that it was based on the year that we had 2 years ago, finishing second at the national championship, but then also our record in the past, what we had done over the years with our team. So that's how the selection process took place. But we started with 64 players. It was the 64 top players that we thought, would initially be narrowed down to the 8. And about every 3 weeks there was a conference call between the 8 committee members that were on the selection committee, and we would have a conference call and basically narrowed it down to 32 after the 64. And then 3 weeks later narrowed it down to 16, and then basically waited right up as close as we could to the end of the season to see how those final 16 players were playing at that time. Obviously we wanted to get the best players that were playing best at the end of the season, and then finally chose the final 8. There was seven players that were selected by the committee, and then they gave me, the coach, one choice captain's pick that I got to choose on my own. Well, I chose Russell Henley from the University of Georgia. in the back of my mind, I had really wanted, a Division II player to get on the team with Alex Carpenter, who was the Division II Player of the Year. He was a unanimous pick from the committee. All 8 of the committee members plus myself voted him in, so I didn't have to select him as my captain's pick. So I ended up choosing, again, like I said, Russell Henley from the University of Georgia, who was on the team the previous year, had a great record at the Palmer Cup the year before, and ended up, he's had a great senior year. He ended up, right before he graduated, he won a nationwide tour event, which is playing against, professionals, and then really had a great national championship at the Division I National Championship, and obviously qualified for the U.S. Open, and actually got himself into 3rd place in the U.S. Open this year. So I was really proud of him for the year that he had, and it made me feel good that I picked a pretty good selection. I think, my most important role was trying to pair the players together when we got into the foursomes and 4-ball, and trying to select, 2 guys that I felt would be, compatible. And I think that in this format, like the Ryder Cup, I think it's so important that the guys are comfortable with each other, with the pressures of playing for your country and everything. You want 2 guys that are really going to help each other out. So I think that was important. And then also, at the end when we got into the singles matches, trying to select an order that I wanted to send my players out. I think that was also very important to make sure, whether we were up or down, not to go too heavy on one end or the other, and it worked out really well for us. But each evening we had team meetings and talked a little bit about the day, and but when you're coaching basically the 8 best players, 8 best amateur players in the world, not a lot you're going to do as far as the game, their swing and things like that. It's more course management, maybe talk a little bit about the way we should play the golf course, and because none of them had played that before, so it was all new to them. So those were a few of the things that we talked about each day. But just team meetings, trying to get the morale boosted every night, and get them ready for the next day. It was it was something that I'll never forget, to be able to spend time with 8 of the best players in the world, amateur players in the world, who will eventually go on and be tour players and be successful on the PGA Tour. Something that not a lot of people get the opportunity to do.
The United States won 5 of the 8 final round singles matches to claim the Palmer Cup at the Stanwich Club in Connecticut this past June. It was the 2nd straight Palmer Cup victory for Team USA against Team Europe. And Tim Poe, our own Tim Poe, was the first ever NCAA Division II coach to earn the honor of leading Team USA, and he certainly represented UCM and NCAA Division II in grand style, winning the event. In just a moment, we'll tell you where all the Mules and Jennies are competing this weekend as Sports Page rolls on after this break.
It's a new season for the Fighting Mules, and a year after setting school record for number of wins in a single season and ranking number 5 nationally, expectations are high. In their 2nd home game of the year, the UCM Mules host the Truman State Bulldogs. Catch the replay Sunday, September 25th at 4 p.m. on KMOS-TV, Missouri PBS.
Imagine America's largest stage, dark. Or the nation's biggest schoolhouse, empty. Or the greatest library of documentary programming, closed forever. It could happen if funding for PBS is eliminated. Find out more about the threat to PBS at 170millionamericans.org. because America needs PBS, and PBS needs you.
I choose to finish what I start.
I choose to accomplish my goals.
I choose red to make my family proud.
I choose red because I can take classes that work around my schedule.
I choose red to advance my career.
The University of Central Missouri Summit Center in Lee Summit has academic programs designed to help you finish your degree, advance your career, and discover your potential. Learn more at choosered.ucmo.edu.
KMOS-TV is my source for entertainment. I thoroughly enjoy all of the musical entertainment that KMOS provides for Central Missouri.
Thank you for watching KMOS Channel 6.1, Sedalia, Warrensburg.
For one final time this week, welcome back to Sports Page. Before we put the finishing touches on this week's show, let's run down our upcoming schedule of Mules and Jenny's events so you know where to go to follow your favorite Central Missouri teams. And we'll start with the 20th ranked Mules football squad. They'll host Truman State in the family weekend game this Saturday at 2 p.m. at Walton Stadium, Kennedy Field, 2:05 officially. Because of the MIAA television network broadcast, it'll be the 95th all-time meeting between these two longtime rivals. You can watch it on the MIAA TV network. You can watch the replay Sunday at 4 right here on KMOS-TV. Of course, we'll have the broadcast for you on 1450 Cocoa, 98.5 The Bar, and WarrensburgRadio.com beginning with pregame at 12:40. We'll have it for you beginning at kickoff on 90.9 The Bridge. In other MIAA games this week, 8th-ranked Washburn hosts Missouri Western Thursday night. On Saturday, Missouri Southern and Lincoln will play at the Edward Jones Dome in St. Louis. Fort Hays State travels to Maryville to battle the number 1 ranked Northwest Missouri State Bearcats. Langston's at Emporia State. William Jewell is at 15th ranked Pitt State in non-conference action. The Mules golf team, ranked 10th in the country, will be in Muskogee, Oklahoma on Monday and Tuesday, taking part in the Northeastern State Invitational. The UCM cross-country teams will be in Minneapolis, Minnesota Saturday for the Roy Griak Invitational. And the 8th-ranked Jenny's volleyball team will be in Joplin to take on Missouri Southern Friday at 6 p.m. The 15th-ranked Jenny's soccer team will also travel to Joplin. They'll battle Missouri Southern Saturday at 4 o'clock. And it's time now for our weekly Sports Page trivia question. Each week, we give you a chance to win a prize from UCM Athletics. Last week, we asked you how many years has Kirk Peterson been the head cross-country coach here at UCM. Coach Peterson is in his 24th year as head coach, and Ron sent in the correct answer. He sent it in first, so he wins a Sports Page t-shirt. This week, our question is, what UCM fall sports teams are currently nationally ranked? If you know the answer and you want a chance to win a prize, send it to the address on your screen or email it to sportspage@kmos.org. And with that, we conclude another edition of the Central Missouri Sports Page. As always, we hope you enjoyed the show, and we invite you to tune in again next Thursday night at 7 and Saturday at 5 to keep up with the UCM Mules and Jennies. If you missed part of the show, you can join us on Fridays on our website, ucmo.edu/athletics, to catch the show in its entirety. We also encourage you to follow us on Twitter at UCM Mules. Until next time, for our entire crew, this is Shawn Jones saying thanks for watching Sports Page here on the Central Missouri Sports Television Network.
Page is provided by First Central Bank, full-service banking from 6 locations in Warrensburg, Holden, Higginsville, and Odessa. More information is available on their Facebook page or at the website firstcentral.net. Member FDIC. By the University Store. The University Store is the official headquarters for Mules and Jenny's emblem clothing, gifts, and UCM memorabilia. Books, office supplies, art supplies, and more are available at the University Store, located on the lower floor of the Elliott Union on the UCM campus in Warrensburg. By Parker's Supermarket and Pharmacy, a home-owned and operated store that listens to its customers. Whether it's a hypoallergenic formula or a new exotic vegetable, Parker strives to serve the unique needs of the area. The mission at Parker's is to make grocery shopping a welcoming experience. And promotional support for Sports Page is provided by 1450 Cocoa and 98.5 The Bar. 1450 Cocoa and 98.5 The Bar, the radio home of University of Central Missouri Athletics.